Alexandre de Beauharnais was slender, strong-jawed, and handsome. As languidly aggressive as a character in the forthcoming novel Les Liaisons Dangereuses, he was already an arch-seducer by the age of 17. He felt the world was his for the taking. In August 1779, just before Yayette departed from Martinique, he wrote to his stepmother that he was going into the country with a wife of a sub-lieutenant in the Navy, a charming woman. He was not planning on conversation. "I count on spending 2 days there, and in that short space of time I shall do everything possible to succeed." He won his prize. His new mistress, Marie-Françoise Laure de Girardin de Montgeral, Madame de Longpré, was from a Martinique family, 29, and the mother of a child. Stylish and temperamental, she had captivated her youthful lover. "Yes, indeed, the Chevalier has tasted happiness. He is loved by a charming woman who is the object of all the aspirations of the garrison of Brest and the district." He expected Edmé to congratulate him. Entranced by Laure's conversation, enthralled by her sexual experience, he barely gave a thought to the girl who was travelling thousands of miles to marry him. To Alexandre, love meant sex and conquest, and life was about enjoying himself. A spoiled, much-beloved child, Alexandre had been raised to believe he was destined for greatness. Until the age of 5, he had lived on Martinique, then was sent to his indulgent father and his mistress in France. In 1775, his tutor, Patricole, was offered a position in the household of the 2 nephews of the Duc de la Rochefoucauld. A leading figure of the Enlightenment, the Duc was friends with Voltaire and Lafayette, and a fervent abolitionist. Patricole took Alexandre and his elder brother François with him. It was not uncommon for aristocratic children to be sent off to live in grander households, and the boys grew up in the Duke's Parisian palace and his country chateau, listening to debates about freedom. He also grew up excessively reserved, cloaking his feelings in elegant diffidence. "What astonishes me most in him and greatly displeases me is the extreme care that he takes to hide, and the ease with which he disguises the feelings of his heart," wrote Patricole. A modern teacher might say Alexandre was deceptive and shallow. At 16, Alexandre achieved a commission in the Sarre Infantry Regiment, which was commanded by the Duke. There his passion for women hit new heights. They were to him trophies of war. He wrote lists of all the women he had ensnared, comparing their various features and titles. Stationed with the unit, he seduced ladies of the town and regimental wives, always eagerly acquainting his stepmother Edmé with his every success. By the age of 17, having long lost his innocence, he preferred older married women, since they were more nonchalant and skilled at verbal sparring. Laure, bored, sensual, teasing, and glamorous, was perfect. Meanwhile, Yayette was en route to France. She had expected her journey to be terrifying. Only a year before, her cousin Aimée had disappeared while travelling on a ship, and her family in Martinique believed she had been kidnapped by pirates. Yayette and Joseph had taken places on a naval storeship, Ile-de-France, headed to the mainland in a convoy led by the Pomone. The weather was rough and the storms were so bad that the passengers believed they would die. Joseph and his daughter were hopelessly seasick and terrified of battle at sea, for they were repeatedly followed by British ships. In spite of their troubles, the family made it to the large naval port of Brest on the west coast of France on October 12, 1779. Overwhelmed by the bustle, the cold, and the dreary autumnal skies, the family retrieved what remained of their baggage and took lodgings in town. But the French sophistication Yayette had dreamed of was nowhere to be found. Brest was one of the 2 major naval bases, a practical town of bars, brothels, and supply shops. Worse still, her father was ill and exhausted.